Hello, folks. This is Raj Sastri from Raj Option Trading. Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite stocks. It's the Vipshop Holdings, ticker symbol VIPS, VIPS. It's into consumer cyclical internet retail. And today is March 24, 2021. And this is an image from Vipshop, internet site, vip.com, and they basically sell a lot of these brand names at a pretty discounted price, and it's catching like wildfire. People are really shopping in vips.com. So mission of this company is to promote quality of life and enhance happy experiences. It's a lofty vision. And also, if you look at the global trend, according to this research, e-commerce in China will account for more than 50% of retail sales, and forecast is it will be 52.1 in 2021. So it's a huge uptick in the e-commerce sales in China. And now we'll go a little bit more into this company and what it does. So Vipshop Holding, symbol VIPS, stock price is $35 and market cap is around 24 billion. So this is a leading online discount retailer for brands in China. If you want to buy any brand, maybe clothing, bags, backpacks, you name it, they sell it. So, their specialty is really they use this e-commerce platform and provide special offers, deep discounts for all the branded products. So this is where, all the consumers are flocking to their website because it's the brands, well-known brands at a deeper discount. And the chairman and co-founder is Ya Shen. He's got 85% approval rate. And with that, if you look at the stock chart here, very impressive looking stock chart. They've been consistently doing very nicely. Some small hiccups along the way, but overall, very nice chart, higher highs and higher lows, just the way we like it. And from a revenue perspective, they are doing very good, 14.76 million, and revenue growth is impressive, 18.2. Nice cash, and they have some debt, which is manageable at this point, and they got good operating cash flow, and also free cash flow is zero at this point. So as you can see here, company may be a little bit strapped for capital, but manageable, I would think. And if you look at the CEO, it's Ya Shen. He's a co-founder and CEO. He has served as a chairman, and I think he's been there with the company since the inception. And he's got 20 years of experience, and he has done consumer electronics, both in domestic and overseas markets. And I think he's got various, lot of expertise and a lot of good history. And he also did some EMBA degree in China. So I think overall he's got a good background. And also, if you look at today's news, it's today there is a huge news in Bloomberg. That's why a lot of the Chinese companies' stocks have fallen down, especially e-commerce plays. So China considers creating state-backed company to oversee tech data. Think about the user data and the private data of the user. So China, basically because of this, if all these companies, Vipshop, maybe Alibaba, all these companies, they need user data to really understand the user, understand their sentiment and what they want to buy next. If China, considers regulating this user data and protecting the user data, you can think about what will happen to these companies who really need the data for selling merchandise. So that's why all these companies like say IQ and Tencent, all these companies dropped big time today. I feel this could be a good opportunity to add to the position a little bit and take it from there. So with that, let's go into a little more details and see what this company does. If you go into VIP shops and look at the key competitors of Vipshop. So we got a couple of them here. We will not go through them all of them in detail, but at the high level, I highlighted few of them. Light in the box, $3 stock, looks like very good 1 year sales growth, and quarter over quarter sales growth also is good. And also they got a good gross margin. I feel it's a good stock and low stock price as you can see here. And then you got Pinduoduo again, a little bit pricey stock, 124. Same story, very good sales growth, 1 year, and quarter over quarter, nice gross margin. And then we got the stock we're talking about today, Vipshop Holding, $35 stock, very good, 1 year growth, 1 year sales growth, and quarter over quarter growth, and nice gross margin here. And then you got JD, Baozun, Alibaba. These are all good stocks. Nice sales growth and nice gross margin. So with that, today we'll talk about Vipshop. Stock came down hard along with the other names, and let's see what we can do here. And one thing about Vipshop, as you can see here, high float short. So short ratio is high. So this means, today, the all the short seller might have closed some of their positions, taking advantage of this huge drop. If people started buying this, remaining, short sellers will be squeezed out. They will be also forced to buy the stock at a higher price. And then we got one more stock here, Baozun. Same story, high short ratio here. Stock price is also around $36. You might see short squeeze as people start buying this again. So with that, let's go into a little more details about Vipshop. From a fundamental perspective, if you see Vipshop, stock price today is around $35. That's down $9 today, 21% down just today because of the news about data privacy regulations in China. And market cap is about 24 billion. And if you look at overall last couple of quarters, market cap has risen nicely. 9.5 billion back in December 2019 became 10, 13. Somewhere in 930 because of COVID, it dropped a little bit, but again picked up again. $19 billion back in 12/31 2020. Now it's $24 billion even after the drop today. I feel like because the moment you see these type of revenue, market cap acceleration, we know that it's taking market share from its competitors, which is a good story. And from a revenue perspective, also, as you can see, a steadily increasing revenue, with the exception of 331 here. That's also good because we love to see revenue increase. And year over year revenue increase, as you can see here, for most part there is a positive year over year revenue increase, except for 331. This is where China has got all these COVID problems. They're a little bit ahead of US. And because of this, stock also dropped, as you can see here, down 22% in this quarter earnings. So EPS, earnings per share perspective, they've been surprising positively all along, which is a good story. And they got good net margin. This company is making money, and they got cash, which is good, and they got some debt, which is manageable. And P ratio is manageable, not too bad. PS ratio, price to sales ratio, is also pretty manageable. And shares outstanding, not big. It's same trend here, nothing out of the woods. So with that, I feel good about this company. And around the earnings, this company kind of went down a little bit, went up. As you can see, nothing glaring here, with the exception of 331 2020, where stock dropped 22%. So with that, I think overall positive story. Now let's look at company's earnings report that came out. What are their highlights? We'll talk about few things there. So Vipshop, they had their fourth quarter 2020 results, and they announced it on February 25th, which is about a month ago or so. So overall looks like positive story. They had their total GMV increased by 25%, and I think their core apparel categories increased faster, 28%. The new customers grew faster than total active customers during the quarter, which is a good story. And they also had, they also they want to do better in executing their merchandising strategy in 2021, which is good. And they want to look at the big data capabilities. Always good to have this. And overall, as you can see here, all good story here. They're increasing their revenue. They're efficiently managing their bottom line. Overall, good story here. So with that, let's go into how they're trading around the earnings. As you can see here, we got Q4 earning, which came out in February 25th. Stock dropped 4%, not a big deal. And they had Q3 earnings back in November 13. Stock went up 1.59%. Q2 earning back in August 2019. Stock dropped 22%. So this is one of the big drop. I think this is probably the COVID related impact. And afterwards, they had Q1 earning back in May. Stock jumped up. So overall, I think they did pretty nicely, with the exception of August 19, the quarter ending Q2. I think overall, I think they did well. So no glaring negative sign here, because overall earnings, it's got a consistency. They've been beating all along. Now let's go into their performance itself on a yearly, monthly, weekly, daily basis. So if you look at a yearly basis, this company has done nicely off late. 2021 so far, just 3 months, 62% change even after today's drop. 2020 impressive 98%. 2019 very nice 159%. And before that, they had some bumps along the way, as you can see here. And I think overall they did nicely. And off late, last 3 years, they did nicely. Now, if you look at the monthly performance, with today's drop, they're down 4% for March, which is very impressive. And as you can see here, they've done very well in February, 36% increase. And they had some bumps along the way. In August, they dropped 27%. Back in January, they dropped 10%. Overall, whenever they stock dropped, it always bounces back. So that's a good thing to see. Even after this drop here, even though we feel it's a huge drop, I'm sure with the history of this company, it can always bounce back easily. Now, if you look at the weekly performance here, this is also nothing glaring here. They have some bumps along the way, but they recovered nicely, and more greens than red, so which is always a good sign. And this week they dropped 21%, which is similar to what they've done in the past. For example, here they did 27% down. I'm sure they will recover as we go along. Now, if you look at the daily performance, nothing glaring here with the exception of today, March 24th, they dropped 21%, which is a huge drop. But otherwise, nothing glaring here, doing pretty well. And today, volume also picked up a lot here. As you can see here, they did almost double than yesterday, which is understandable. People are either buying or selling aggressively with this drop. Now let's go into a little more details about this company and look at monthly chart. So the way this chart is organized is we got all the months on the top, I mean years on the top, 2021, 2020, 2019, and then we got all the months here. The way to organize, the reason to organize this way is by looking at this, you will kind of look at some of these, patterns. Is December always, issue for this company, or is it September the issue? You can kind of spot easily. And we also have yearly high and yearly low, and what the yearly performance. As you can see here, this stock has got very good difference between yearly high and yearly low. It's a big difference, almost double, as you can see here. And they did nicely in 2021 and 2020, 2019, some bumps here in 2018 and 2016, 2015. And overall, I feel company is doing nicely. There is nothing specific that jumps out, with the exception of 2018 was a really difficult year for them, and so is 2016. But otherwise, generally, if you look at March here, this March they're down 4%, and back in 2018 they were down 4%. I would not think it's a pattern, because March they're down almost all months. And this stock gives some good buying opportunities, even though 2020, 2019 were good years. As you can see here, August it dropped 27%, then it picked up. So same story here. 2019 they dropped 11% here in July, and in May they dropped around 12%, and February also they dropped. All these drops, it's always a good buying opportunity. And I feel this is also same story, nothing glaring here. We will go a little more into detail and see what's the rationale. So now we'll look at the technical detail of this company. So this is a technical chart from Thinkorswim. One it's a 18-month chart, year and a half. Very nice chart, as you can see here. Nice stock chart, doing nicely. Earnings here, stock did nicely. Earnings here, stock jumped up. Earning here, stock jumped up. Here, earnings stock dropped here. This is due to COVID, like you talked about. Overall, I feel stock has done nicely. And now suddenly here, stock dropped below 50-day moving average. And I would think, probably, stock will catch itself and bounce off of this 50-day moving average and go up. That's my hunch, but we'll see how it goes. It might take a day or two to stabilize at this point, but I feel, it might bounce off of this 50-day moving average. And then if you look at implied wall, as usual, today because of this huge news, the implied wall jumped up, and DMI, the blue line itself, went below the red line, and red line took a spike up, which is really understandable because of this sudden news. It always happens. Um, the on the balance volume, as you can see here, it are doing very nicely, and there's a small drop off today, but still I think volume picked up today, so not a huge drop off. And check-in money flow, as you can see here, had a drop off today, which is understandable because stock dropped. The check-in money flow typically drops, but when stocks picks up, this will also reverse the course and go up again. And wall implied IV rank is 53, so it may not be advisable to buy call option at this point, because a little bit higher IV, I would wait for IV to stabilize a little bit before buying stock option or a call option. But if you want to sell a put option at a lower price, or a put spread, you could do that at a lower price. If you really want to buy the stock, it's good idea to sell a put option at a lower price. If stock hits that price, you can buy the stock at that price. Otherwise, you kind of earn a premium. So with that, let's jump into a little more detail, and let's look at option chain of Vipshop. So this option chain, here it's 20 August 2021, 149 days out. So as you can see here, there is a lot of call, open interest in strike prices 31 through all the way to 40, 45. So this tells me a lot of people are buying in the money calls like delta 69 here, delta 74. They're basically betting stock will go up, so they can make some money as stock goes up. That's why they're buying um, call option out 149 days out, 2020, 20 August 2021. So these guys are really betting stock will go up. That's why they're willing to pay around 670, or around 670 to 840 to buy this call option aggressively. And there are also folks who are buying the put option here. These guys probably have a stock at a little bit higher price, or maybe at around 35 level. So if you really see here at 35, we have a lot of put options here, and at 40 here people bought a lot of put options at 40 also. So that's why there are, at least by cursory look of this, there are more put options traded than call options. So typically that's a bearish type sentiment, because puts are traded more. But you can also take a contrarian view, thinking, hey, you know what, people are panicking, it could be good opportunity to buy. So with that, let's look at the put call ratio itself. It's in Thinkorswim platform under today's option statistics. So as you can see here, calls 17,000 contracts, puts 58,000 contracts. So that makes a PC ratio, put call ratio of 3.28. Typically, this is very high. This indicates there are a lot more people buying puts than calls, and traditionally it's a bearish signal. But there are a lot of contrarians. They will kind of jump at this opportunity to really, buy the stock outright, or buy the call option. Thinking the situation will improve fast. All the folks who bought the put option, it might expire worthless if stock goes up. So it's a contrarian view. If you want to buy at this price, you're kind of going against the traditional grain of salt, and buying this as a contrarian, and taking advantage of blood in the market. So with that, what do we do now? Vipshop, stock dropped huge today. What do you do? Stock dropped because Chinese government, they have proposed establishing a joint venture with local technology giants, to oversee lucrative data they collect from hundreds of millions of consumers. So because of this proposal, most of these US listed Chinese stocks have plummeted. Think about IQE, 20% down, Tencent 27%, Vipshop 21%. So this is most, it dropped a lot, the most in last 5 years. So at this point, we don't know the rules around this data privacy, and this will require changes to the Chinese law. And if you look at other areas in the world, Europe has got this global data privacy, or GDPR, and companies have done very well with it, and no major issues there. And if you look at USA also has got lot of these data and privacy rules. And despite of that, now our companies like Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, they've all done nicely. So I feel like Chinese government typically has a tendency to take some harsh stance up front, to make sure companies abide by the rules, but typically they will soften it later, or even execution gets watered down or delayed. So that's why I feel this is one of those scenarios where Chinese government want to put these companies in notice, but actually executing the rules, it might takes longer time, or it might even soften the stance later. So I feel the stock market has reacted, overreacted here, and this could be a buying opportunity. You could buy a little bit here, and if it drops more, you can buy a little more. So overall, I feel a 20 to 30% drop is a very good opportunity to buy. These are nice companies, and we don't get these opportunities too often. Could be good to buy and hold for a long time. So with that, happy investing. Thank you very much.